it's like calendars are to this person as like maybe guns are to like us, where it's like, listen, they have calendars, all right? They're going to continue to have calendars, all right? And they have calendars like you've never seen before.
There's no getting rid of the calendars, folks. All right, I'm Alexander Edward.
And I'm Tony Boswell.
And we are Minion Death Cult. The world is ending. Your dad's calendar is responsible. And we're documenting it. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year. We're back. We're back from our self-imposed exile to the Patreon realm. We were recording and releasing episodes every week over there, including the live stream, Death Chat 500 every Saturday. But we did take a break from the main feed for the holiday season. We honor all of those holidays so much that we stay closed.
Yeah, that's the ultimate respect. Not only do we stay closed, but like you said, we stay closed, and while we are inside, we are only stretching.
Yeah,
we are only stretching and doing kinetic movements to stay loose, so that we can do this job better and for longer. And that's why breaks are important.
There's a really cool moment in stretching, like as you progress through your stretching journey, you start being able, like, you know how when you stretch your whatever, there's pops. I don't know if it's your tendons or your bones or your joints or whatever. But you know what I mean? You get a good stretch. Yeah, sometimes you get a little pop. There's like new pops. There's like pops in parts. You're like, oh shit, that part pops. Nice.
Yeah. Neat. That is cool. My back is in such a bad way these days that I stretch throughout the day. And when the day starts, my fingertips can get below my kneecaps. And then by the end of the day, I'm grabbing my ankles, baby.
Right.
You know, so I get to experience that progress that you see over like every day. I get to reset it every day, and it's beautiful.
I love grabbing my ankles. I know it's, people are going to probably cut that and take that out of context and use it for something delightful. But I genuinely, it feels weird. It feels like I shouldn't be able to do that, but I can. It makes me feel so strong and like capable.
Well, people look at large people like us, and they think that we can't do it. They think there's no way they can be that statuesque and agile, and we're here to prove them wrong.
Well, and you internalize that for so many years. You direct that inward at yourself. You shrink to fit their image of you. But those days are behind us.
Yeah.
No, never. I'm never going back into the XL closet. I'm a double XL.
That's goddamn right. Goddamn right. I still can't believe how long I wore double extra larges for, up until like maybe 3 years ago. And like, it's insane. I like put on an extra large like the other day, kind of just to try a shirt on, hoping it would fit. I was like, what was I ever doing? You giant idiot.
I'm still in XLs. I can't like do jumping jacks in them.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, maybe you could. Maybe you could.
No, that's right. Tony and I have left the XL plantation.
That's right. Because they're not doing for us what they say they are.
Okay. All right. We need to move on to the episode. We've lost so many people. What's up, everybody? Yeah. So yeah, we're back now. Thanks for joining us. We've got a fairly fun I think it's really fun. Not just fairly fun. I think this one's really fun episode on the a controversy on the right wing known as Calendargate. Have you heard anything about this, Tony?
No. I are we still doing this? Is like a tangible, we're talking about like a tangible calendar, like one you can hang on your wall.
Yeah. So
would I hang this one in my garage?
Yeah, in your shop, your garage. All right. You could even take each of these images and paint it on the side of a B-52 bomber if you'd like. One of those kind of calendars.
Okay. No, I know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. Put me on.
Right. Okay. So the way I found out about this was I saw tweets that were like, I can't believe Hamas is doing genocide to Israel and we're fighting about a calendar.
Are we? And that's the original post you saw?
That's the original one I saw.
This is your first being informed that we are fighting over calendars?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
I love that kind of post.
Yeah.
That kind of post. It's like, I can't believe we're talking about this.
Yep.
when this, and it's like, well, tell me more. I want
Are
to
we?
know. I want to know about Calendargate. So Calendargate is, remember that beer company that was like in opposition to Bud Light, conservative dad's beer, and it cost
Yeah.
$20 for a 6-pack, and you ordered it online, but there wasn't like any proof that you were ever going to get it.
Yeah.
Probably
It
had
was
to pay like,
pre-ordered.
it was pre-ordered. Probably pay like $10 to $20 in shipping
Mhm.
for per 6-pack. Insane. Imagine getting like beer shipped to your house.
Well, I'm really just paying for the peace of mind that this beer won't make me crave penis.
But sure, but you know
It'd
what I
have to
mean?
be a non-alcoholic beer, is what that would have to be.
Like wine makes sense to, that's a good joke, but so wine makes sense to ship, you
Yeah.
know, but
Yeah.
like a 6-pack of beer that's gonna get you a buzz, I guess, paying $10 for shipping on top of the 20, insane
Yeah,
business
wild.
model. Well, they've counteracted their dog shit business model by releasing a calendar with quote real women, conservative women, with Riley Gaines, the swimmer who hates trans people, Ashley St.
Get the
Clair,
fuck
the
out.
Babylon Bee commentator or something, who probably also hates trans people. Trying to remember who else, like younger conservative internet women, e-thoughts,
That's I did not know. I can't believe that she transitioned to like ethot to from mediocre swimmer to I don't know. I'm not gonna. I don't know. I don't know what she looks like actually, so I don't even know where I'm
No,
going
I
with
was
it. But that's just
joking.
That's a wild thing to do. Oh,
I was
she's not really in it.
I was joking about ethot. They're not
Oh,
like,
okay.
they're just like,
Well, she is if she's in this calendar, right?
let me say. They're just like, these sassy women online, these sassy young conservatives who are, based or whatever, but also conventionally attractive.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're also doing a swimsuit. It's not just a swimsuit modeling calendar, but like this one right here, the redhead libertarian, a right-wing Twitter personality, posed in it. She's posing as a traditional housewife with, I think it's a dad's beer apron on, and she's holding a pie, and there's a cross behind her on the wall.
Nice.
Which, cause the cross has like rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. People were like, how dare she do this? And somebody's like, well, it's not a Christian calendar. It's like, yeah, well, there's a cross in there.
Well, they didn't use a crucifix for a reason. They just want to do it in front of they would never do that in front of Jesus. They just do it in front of the cross. Is Jesus on the cross in this one? Because that's not okay. You got to hide your gams from Jesus.
He's on the cross, and you can actually see the cross, the crucifix reflected in the steel microwave as well. Very interesting. I wonder if that was intentional or if it's just a happy coincidence.
That is weird. Because usually when I see people being lewd with the cross, they're doing it on purpose. So I'm on their side. This is crass. I like it. I'm so disappointed in what just came up.
Yeah.
I
don't know.
It's not slutty enough for me.
It's what I described.
I know. I thought, but you said people were mad about it, so I was expecting something real slutty, and it's just like this is not at all.
This is probably the most modest one, because there are like bikini photos, but they're not. It's not it's not like lingerie. But people still had a problem with it, like CCG Bryson, who's a conservative rapper. He's a Trump rapper guy. I think he's Christian. I know he's Christian. The fact that conservatives made a calendar with half-naked women, then decided to put Christian imagery on the photos, is demonic.
Dog, on someone who's protesting this hard, you need to check their hard drive. Like this is there's nothing offensive about this image. This image is straight up wholesome. I'll give him that. This is a wholesome ass image.
If you thought that was him objecting hard, Tony, wait till I show you the rap video he made about the calendar.
Hell yeah.
It's just, I wish there were a way I could do it in real time. so I didn't have to talk awkwardly over this, you know?
I think this video is probably gonna fill in all the details you haven't been able to give me so far, right?
Right.
Okay, cool. Because that way I can really view this objectively.
Okay. CG Bryson tweeted, I made a song called, quote, "This is Demonic."
Like, you're gonna waste that title on the calendar? It's like, dog, don't you know there's like way more demonic stuff that you guys are mad about?
Yeah, that's when you release Demonic 2.
Damn. And that's about like the Little Mermaid sequel.
Right. Demonic 2 is the Harry's Razor ad.
Yeah,
or whatever,
yeah.
whatever the Ben Shapiro non-woke razor ad is. He's like, shaving your face is it's blasphemy.
Yeah, it's not biblically accurate.
This is demonic. I like that he's doing the TKW thing where he just takes a phrase and repeats it over and like tries to milks it for all its fucking worth.
Yeah.
And he was like, this is when I said the demonic thing about that being demonic, I triggered a lot of people, but I still say it's demonic.
I think the people that are triggered are demonic.
Dave, run it up.
Said 3 words and I got everybody mad. Blair White, Rob Smith, and see my.
See, he's talking about the words he said. It's like
Yeah.
It's like branding. It's all. Remember when I said demonic?
That's what I'm talking about. You remember when the thing you're hearing right now me say for the first time, actually, people clicking on this most likely?
I love songs about words.
This is so funny. So he's like in this music video. It's the typical rap video where it's a guy on the streets, except for this guy is in like a suburban neighborhood with like multi-million-dollar homes around him.
Yeah, like brick homes.
Like by himself. Also by himself.
I think the implication is he lives there.
Also in the driveway, not even cool in the street.
I don't know. I look at him and I'm like, wow, look at how much clothes he's wearing. He's truly being modest.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't even see his wrist.
He's living his values, wearing the coat and the pants.
Dave, run it up.
Said 3 words and I got everybody mad. Blair White, Rob Smith, and seem like everybody fast. Trying to change definitions. This conservative class, you can't be a pimp and call yourself conservative dad. I'm about to burn it down. What a matches. Y'all say other women.
You can't be a pimp and call yourself conservative dad.
Is that the beer company?
Conservative dad. You smoke too good. You pimp too hard.
You pimp too hard.
God's gonna kill you.
And he is comparing to like putting these women in the calendar to like pimping them, which is amazing. And like, not to be that guy, but if you're gonna go that route about biblical values like that, he's wearing a shirt that just says holy on it. And like that shirt's a fucking sin. That shirt's a sin.
Yeah.
Like having Christian merch is a sin. If you're going this route,
wearing skinny jeans and a puffer jacket, also a sin.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You are not thorough, bro.
Okay. This video sucks ass. I don't know if there's any. I don't really care. There's so much more to get to than this fucking clown. Like
A trending topic, but for Christ, I'm a skate. I should have worked that Sonic. Hey, okay, now I'm demon hunt. If it's not traditional values, you're not conserving none.
if it's not traditional values.
He said, "For Christ, I will skate." Which I think the references to skate would be to like pull up on somebody, right? He said, "I should have worked at Sonic's." I'm gonna give him that. That was great. That was fucking great. For Christ, I'm a skate. I should have worked at Sonic's.
I liked when he was like, "If it's not conservative values, then you're not conserving nothing."
Yeah.
I liked that one a lot. I almost thought he said something about actually nutting.
If it's not conservative values, then I'm not nutting.
It was just his slang that he put on it, you know.
Like, I honestly, all these niggas is going to hell. I hate this. I hate these dudes. These conservative black grifters are like, they're the worst individuals.
Well, okay, you want to you want to see the fallout from this shit? So yeah, let me get back to the screenshots. A lot of like infighting, mostly between corny boomer conservatives who like, hey, give me some tits and a beer, and hell yeah, that's conservatism. Like guys who are that were fighting with Christian conservatives. Fascists were fighting with boomers because fascists, it's like, I'm not for live and let live. It doesn't, my values should be enforced, and it's, not from a Christian perspective. It's from a weird racist, aggrieved perspective,
They're mad because there's not enough redheads in it, and there's not representation inside of in the calendar. Also, like naming yourself one of your physical attributes is like one of the wackest things ever. Like you're redheaded libertarian.
Yeah,
that's her name. That's her username. That's her identity. Like
identity politics.
You're so lame. You're so lame. I guess. Yeah. No. Yeah. I because I'm no longer the black and pitted guy, so I can say this now. I can say this now.
Yeah, but yours is funny. Yours isn't like what? He's black and he has purple hair.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yours is just a cool guy, but if he was black.
Yeah, mine would be like the mulatto communist. Like that's like fucking boring. That's stupid. That's so stupid. Because it's just like semi-literal,
Yeah. No, when
that's a slur, by the way. No one else say that.
Speaking of slurs, here's some of the responses. Let's go back here. So Rita Love, who I think is a trans right-wing influencer, says is responding to Bryson the rapper, saying you had a meltdown because a libertarian released the calendar. Considering your background, maybe we should take rights away from you. Something about black crime statistics. So yeah, right-wing trans woman is saying, quoting FBI crime statistics at a black conservative rapper. And then the black conservative rapper, this is Bryson, real Bryson Gray, I think is his last name. Yeah. Says, you're a T slur. You don't want me to say what should happen to you. So calling the right, like calling to like kill or at least beat up or incarcerate or something, the right-wing trans woman. To which the right-wing trans woman replies, don't play softball, N-word. Tell me how you really feel. But, says writes the actual N-word.
Like the actual one, like the hard, like you said, like the hard R, the actual one. I didn't know. I forgot that was the whole point of X. You can now spell it out completely without editing it at all.
Yeah. Without just doing it tweet by tweet with all your friends.
God, infighting is so funny because these are just two. And the best part about this is it's these quips and it's their profile pictures next to it. Mm-hmm. So it's like Bryce, because I think Bryson's basically calling for her like death or at least very bad physical harm. And he just has this big grin in a bucket hat. And then he's over here.
He's the Christian one, by the way.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rita Love is a Christian one.
Oh, I don't think she's allowed to be. I don't know if she's allowed to be.
Right.
Yeah, and then her going straight hard R. And like it's funny, it is kind of funny because she is like, oh, we're gonna slur now? Or we're gonna go for slurs now?
Yeah.
And then even her picture's like a cute little picture. She's like has a little smirk drinking I think a beer. And it's just like it's so bizarre. And it's also like you guys are kind of same team here. But she did start it by being like, hey, listen, crime statistics. I hate your song.
It was funny. Yeah, people were reacting to this because she like screenshotted it herself and shared it.
Got his ass. That's what she said with the caption.
Because what happens is when you can say the N-word, you can write it out, but it gets flagged as like hate speech. So you have to click through, it's like whatever, this may contain sensitive content. But if you screenshot it, then you can share it and everybody can see it, which is what she did. And people were like, "Wow, I hate both of them. I don't know who to root for because I love to hate them so much. God, you guys are great. Keep giving me this shit." That was like genuinely the sentiment, was just like the entire right wing watches people like this so that they can just, vicariously experience some of the worst emotions.
This is like when I was, this is like when I was watching Secession. Like, I just hated everybody, and I just wanted everybody to lose, so I couldn't stop watching it. And that's how they feel about this.
And again, this is over a swimsuit calendar that conservative dad put out to desperately try and remind people that he's selling beer for twice as much as you could get it down the street.
Amazing.
Some more objections to the calendar, like from Abby Libby. These are all like big accounts. Like I hadn't heard of them, but all these people have like 40,000, 100,000, 700,000 followers. These are all like fairly prominent people on right-wing Twitter. Abby Libby says we'll find out who she is in the next slide. Abby Libby says the quote, conservative calendar doesn't feature any pregnant women or photos of women with their kids because it was never actually about, quote, real women or conservative values, just sex appeal. Featuring married women marketed to dads. We all know it. Enough gaslighting. I love the use of gaslighting here, because a lot of this is reminding me of liberal like modesty discourse or sex positivity discourse. So very funny. Yeah, you're gaslighting me. If you, a conservative, don't like me, a woman, making money off my body or getting attention for my body, you're actually gaslighting the entire conservative movement. Because that's what I don't know. Like, let's actually look at this issue. I, for one, do think it's funny that a bunch of conservative women are doing a bikini shoot to own the libs, but their side has like moved, because that's such like a 2004 idea.
Yeah.
And their side has like moved into such weird directions that like it'll probably still hit the mainstream as like a positive thing or whatever, but the actual base of the party is having these discussions about like traditional like there's a movement towards trad wives or whatever, traditional Christian marriage, and there's also a move against sexual degeneracy that the right wing is like spearheading at this moment. There's people on the left who do that shit as well, but it's obviously the right wing who is using that as sort of a wedge issue to, try and chip away at other things. So of course they're going to have this backlash. Of course there's going to be like hating women is one of them, and I sound cliche at this point, but it's real. Like getting off on shaming women or sharing, lol cows or women to abuse online or whatever. That's like the bread and butter of the right wing. And it's very funny to think that you could do this calendar and have it, be an epic moment and not like be considered boomer degeneracy by your Gen Z fascist up and comers.
Well, it's funny because this is like the byproduct of because ultimately these things, they're not doing these calendars to empower these women. They're doing these calendars to like serve the men.
Well,
right?
Because that's not what they'll say. They will use the progressive liberal excuse of doing the calendar, of saying it's empowering to women and it's showing us that we're magnificent and we're great.
Oh, but I'm talking about like whether the beer company themselves. The beer company themselves was not thinking let's empower women. The beer company, and so like it's funny because now that we have all these conservative women who are pushing trad values, they get to kind of see through that, right, and kind of like get to get in for that. Like the fact that she brings up that they're all married and stuff like that. I'm surprised I'm not seeing more things like this is basically adultery. This is basically. I'm wondering if this is going to end in I'm assuming 12 women that are in this. I wonder if it will end in a divorce for one of them.
I'm sure it's going to end in a divorce for a lot of them. I don't
Yeah.
like not the calendar necessarily, but just in general.
Watch out for the guy who's like, this calendar ended my relationship. This calendar brought my woman away from Christ.
I mean,
away from her family.
That's a joke that conservatives who like the calendar were making. Like, they're having that cultural divide on their side. Like, there's a contingent of empowerment, sexual empowerment libs in the right wing, like working for the Babylon Bee.
Yeah.
Ashley St. Clair, I think is her name. She's the one who like went viral for being like, I tried to complain to Delta that there were brown people in the airport, and the employees said they're humans too. What the frick? That she's in this calendar twice. I think she's like married to one of the guys who owns Babylon Bee, that real big weirdo. But I'm not sure. But they're like taking the stance of this is female empowerment. Not only are they doing that, but they're also like calling out misogyny on the right wing.
Yeah.
But she deleted a video of it. I don't have that video, but I'm pretty sure she made a video like decrying misogyny on the right wing.
And now saying misogyny because you are trying to limit what they're able to do in the sense of like they're being in the calendar. The calendar's not misogynistic, but them saying they can't be in the calendar is misogynistic, right?
Yeah. People were being misogynistic to her. Yes.
There you go. Yeah.
But yeah, I love Abby Libby here, who's like, well, I couldn't help but notice there weren't any pregnant barefoot women in your calendar. It's not that conservative, actually. Like it's like a stereotype of a conservative. Like these people, I don't know, but they're popular in a lot of corners of the internet. But I love just like, if this were about women, it would have children in it. Why aren't American men hanging calendars of pregnant women and children in their auto shops?
This is such bullshit because like Abby Libby gets to be like, give me a calendar of scantily clad pregnant women, and everyone's like, look at her. And then when I do it, they're like, what a weirdo.
Mm-hmm. I do think like you can't. I think Abby Libby, I think the trad conservatives make more sense, are like less hypocritical. They're probably doing it for a fetish anyway, but you can't be against. I'm against OnlyFans, but I also modeled for your grandpa's like roadster calendar or whatever. It's like, really, I don't know. I think like I don't think it's immoral to pose for a calendar or like have one of these calendars. I just think it's cringe.
Totally. Absolutely.
Like, because there were those discussions of like, yeah, why would your husband want to buy a calendar with other women on it? And I'm like, that is kind of weird. If you go into your partner, if you have a monogamous relationship and you go into your partner's man cave and there's like, I don't know if it's like an iconic poster, maybe I could see having like a specific but just like tits everywhere, tits and ass, like that's a goon cave now.
But it's also more bizarre though, because it's not just like scantily clad women. It's scantily clad women who you have a parasocial relationship with. Sorry.
That's a really good point. That's like cheating. That's emotional cheating as well as physical cheating.
Like back in the day, you didn't have to worry about your husband like being in the reply to Cindy Crawford. Like that was fine. You
also didn't have to worry about him secretly giving the mortgage payment to Cindy Crawford online every month.
Yeah, totally. But like, these guys they bought this. I think a lot of these guys they didn't buy this because they're fans of the beers. They're fans of these people in the calendar, I believe.
Sure, yeah,
or at least someone.
But yeah, Abby Libby says, "How come there weren't any pregnant women in it, huh?" You go to Abby Libby's bio. Says currently growing. Her bio says married to John, currently growing a human, movie star, host of Conspiracy Pilled, currently growing a human. So I think now I know why she's mad that there were no pregnant women. Yeah. She's like, "Hello, I'm the model of womanhood. What's more woman than this?"
Yeah, I look great. I look great in a bikini. Why didn't you? Why didn't you put me in it? You think she did apply, and they're like, "Ooh, you're actually pregnant." So never mind.
Man, if this is the CIA, because this is like conspiracy pilled, this is your conspiracy theorist or whatever. If this is like the CIA doing a psyop to make conspiracy theorist, sex negative, weird, traditional party poopers, that's devious. That's pretty. Because like I'm not going to follow this person. She's like mad at the calendar.
Yeah,
At the calendar with ladies on it.
yeah. It's like, wouldn't you be kind of be disappointed with the usage of their bandwidth? Like, do they know that there are calendars with like actual like naked trans people?
Well, it's interesting
Exist,
you would
you
say
know?
that, Tony. You're so good at the segues today because yeah, here's an example of like the fascist backlash against the calendar. Ancient masculinity, crossed swords, verified on Twitter with a I don't know if this is Roman, a fucking gray statue as his avatar tweets out, "Flee sexual immorality, period." This is quoted to the Apostle Paul.
And
And then we have a meme underneath. And it's a meme of the calendar with a couple of the models from the calendar and the beer. And it says a culture that tolerates this. And then below that is Dylan Mulvaney at CBS headquarters, it looks like, will eventually allow this.
oh no. The phrasing is like wild. And also, I don't know if you knew this, bud, but there's a lot of trans grifters out there. So it's being allowed. It's being super allowed.
No, he's saying that like conservatives would reproduce the LGBTQ culture they claim to hate by doing a Busty Babes swimsuit calendar. And by Busty Babes, I mean a 7th tier swimmer.
Yeah.
There
slope.
There were like a couple actual models in this, and I think we'll get to one in just a second, who did this calendar as well. But yeah, this is their argument that like liking women too much leads to liking trans women, and you need to be able to hate women so you can save space to hate trans women as well.
It's also to prepare you to hate a trans woman. Like,
exactly.
Yeah. How can you authentically hate a trans woman if you don't hate cis women a little bit?
Here's another like more fascist account. Peachy Keenan, I think a woman tweeting out, quote, "Riley, we love that you stood up for young girls who don't want men ogling them in the locker room while they get undressed. Now, please, can you get undressed so conservative dads can ogle you?" This literally happened.
Whoa.
And it's an image of the calendar. Yeah, I don't know. Like I think it's kind of obvious that you're being used as like a sexual thing in this calendar, right? Like
Yeah.
Riley Gaines is arching her back in a bikini on the front. Like it's a titillating image, and it's meant to be. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but it's just very funny for like these conservative women to have to pretend that it's not about sex or selling sex or anything like that. It's actually about the freedom to dress however you want or whatever they're saying it is.
Well, it's the whole thing about it's the whole idea where it's like, at one point, do they consider consent in any of this? Right? That's the whole that's the obvious difference, right? Where like what they're claiming is happening is somebody seeing them naked, they don't want to see them naked. Where here they're like, please, I'm allowing you to look at me in this bikini. I'm consenting to this. That's not a factor here for them.
Well,
that idea is not in the math.
The redheaded libertarian in some like conversation was like, if two consenting adults want to make and sell pornography, they can do that. Like, I don't have a problem with that or whatever, or that's allowed.
Yeah.
And people were quote tweeting that or screenshotting that with like conservatism versus libertarianism. And like here's your quote, here's the conservative values of libertarianism. Porno is sick. Porno is nice to jerk it to.
Yeah.
She says. So yeah, there is that like issue of no, you're not allowed to consent. I don't care if people consent.
Yep.
Like they a lot of conservatives, especially the Christian ones, are like disregarding consent culture altogether. They don't believe in it.
Yeah, because they don't care about consent. That's not a thing they care about.
No.
Because as we all know, like especially because we're talking about wives here, like the wife, like, especially as a wife, that's the only consent you need is that one I do is a forever yes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and like that and that's really how they think. That's really how they think. I do wish that someone would put out a statement to be like, listen, I only consent to conservative Christian American men who are not married to be aroused by this issue, by this technology. If you're not that, then that's not okay. Look away.
Go. Simple. Yeah, Peachy Keening is the author of Domestic Extremist, which I think is like a homesteading book. Wife Supremacist, Overton Window, wrote for the Federalist. Yeah, so just a weirdo. You know, these weirdo people who do have like a fairly strong grip on the Republican base, like a younger, self-aware, right-wing base, but are still just like fairly fringe figures. Like even normie conservatives can dunk on you for saying that a calendar made you upset you, you know?
But the thing about, you know, we have this issue in the world where we don't really have a grip on numbers and what numbers really look like. You know, every time I see some random Twitter account of someone who I have no idea who they are, who has 8 million followers, I'm like, oh, that means that no one knows who this 50,000 follower person is, but that 50,000 people are gassing that up. You know, and if
they're good followers, then yeah.
It's just, we just have like no idea of like the actual impact on the world, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're writing for the Federalist, so they're reaching people or they're working for the Federalist or something. So they're reaching people other than just their Twitter followers. You know, they're selling books. This, you know, this shit has broken containment. There's like niche, you know, statue fascist Facebook accounts that are now just like normie right-wing accounts on Facebook that are huge. They got there just by sharing like the most dumb shit, you know, fake whatever Kali Yuga, you know, weak men create hard times bullshit, or like, remember when we used to build buildings, stuff like that gets like 80,000 shares on Facebook.
Yeah.
But the majority of the public doesn't like buy into the actual arguments of keeping women barefoot in the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
just the vocal ones.
But people like that won't stop people like Lauren Chen. I believe she's of Blaze Media. She's a Canadian. Glenn Beck's network. I think she was on there. Maybe I could be mistaking that for another Canadian right-wing outlet. But Lauren Chen said, some of you are really shocked when people actually want to conserve Christian values or right-wing nationalist policies. Not just, quote, classical liberalism or centrism from like 10 years ago, crying, laughing emoji. Like rolling, crying, laughing. It's funny that she attacks classical liberalism because there is a trend among modern right-wingers to refer to classical liberalism as their political denomination. You know, it's just a reference to like free market, free markets and like social liberalism, you know, democracy, essentially representative democracy. It's funny that we have somebody saying, like, addressing that directly, because a lot of people on the right wing don't agree with, you know, social liberalism. And I like that she says we need to enact like right-wing nationalist policies, meaning to like ban swimsuit calendars, like it, like create a new like vice code or something like that.
It's like, and what would even be the point of that? Like, yes, okay, you're getting rid of calendars, but I got to be real with you. Like, the calendars don't even serve the purpose they used to. They don't, there's not, 12-year-old kids stealing the calendar and sneaking off to the bathroom anymore. Like you can have someone who looks just like those people just doing the wildest things in the palm of your hand on your phone. So it's like, what is the point of that? But I do love
that would be part of it too, Tony. Like you wouldn't even be allowed to have TikTok under Lauren Chen's regime. Of course, there wouldn't be any internet pornography, but there also wouldn't be any calendars. There would be no bikinis. You'd be wearing one pieces. Back to one pieces at the swimming pool, ladies.
You couldn't even have actual calendars because they remind you of the other calendars, and then we'll get lost in time. I do like that, just the idea of, and it's funny because, we do something similar in the other direction, right? Where it's like, hey, you guys thought I was playing, but we're serious. Like, we're really serious when it comes, I'm saying Christian values and right-wing nationalist policies for a reason. I'm not just joking. I'm really about this shit.
So this conversation goes on. Nina Infinity replies, when, quote, conserving Christian values include covering women up because it's sinful and telling them that they're demonic and not modest and have to cover up, Christianity starts sounding a lot like Islam. And that's how these, more epic conservatives were owning the Christian conservatives, as they were calling them, guess what? What's the white version of the Taliban called again?
I don't know. What's the white version of the Taliban called? I have no idea. Like
y'all Qaeda. They were doing like y'all Qaeda memes at them. They were doing like lib y'all Qaeda memes at them from like 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay, I forgot about that.
Sounds a lot like Islam here. And then Lauren Chen replies, Islam isn't wrong for preaching modesty. It is a virtue. When religious police start enforcing laws mandating women cover their hair or start stoning people, for example, that's a problem. So everything up to the hair is okay.
I mean, look at Lauren Chen, though. Lauren Chen's got a great head of hair. I understand why that's where the hill she's going to die on. Good smile. You don't want to cover any of that up.
Then Soli, who's like a black trad wife on Twitter.
That's a real person?
I mean, I don't know.
I don't know if
they have a Twitter profile.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The way I'm looking at it, the blue part of the dress, it looks like the whole body, the whole torso, and the cardigan looks like its background. So I thought this was like a Bratz doll, like a really hyper realistic looking Bratz doll. It was like
no, yeah.
And then I was like, oh wait, this is actually it reminded me more of the Team America type doll. But there's optical illusion. Sorry for that.
Marionette, yeah. Soli, that's who we're talking about, says people are shocked when we tell them we don't believe in, quote, live and let live, LOL. And just like Lauren's tweet here, some of you are really shocked when people actually want to conserve Christian values or do right-wing nationalist policies. No, we're not shocked. I don't.
Yeah.
Like I'm not shocked. A good contingent of you tried to out right-wing or out traditional or out Christian the more normie, or like what would you even call it, like man show type conservative?
Yeah, I mean, I guess it would just be like, honestly, it would just be like the non-Christian conservative, to be honest.
But all those guys say they're Christians too. So we're really seeing like the people who either really believe or know that there's like a niche they can occupy on the side of people who really believe their own bullshit about modesty or whatever. A few more things in here. Okay, this is one of my favorites. This is just random people I saw. This is one of my favorite dissents to the calendar. One of my favorite arguments against the calendar. Super no dox me. I don't know. Conservatives shouldn't just be the light beer liberals. The calendar wasn't about virtue / modesty / beauty. There is no virtue in strange men looking at pictures of women in lingerie taking bubble baths. So I take it back. This is an argument. The response is one of my favorites. So that was just like a typical, this is not conservatism. What values are you conserving? Yada, yada, yada. Rafael Marquez says, see, the people who died in the Holodomor, I've never said it out loud.
Yeah.
Holodomor. I think it's Holodomor. That sounds
I think it's
better.
Holodomor, yeah.
The people who died in the Holodomor also had principles and virtues. You know what these did for them when the Soviets arrived? Nothing! I appreciate your will to defend your beliefs, but I would rather be alive 10 years in the future, which won't happen if the left wins. And what he's saying is, we need the calendar, folks. All right. You're sorry. The future of the right wing comes before whatever measly qualms you have about a bikini.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like calendars are to this person as like maybe guns are to like us, where it's like, listen, they have calendars. All right. They're going to continue to have calendars, all right? And they have calendars like you've never seen before.
There's no getting rid of the calendars, folks.
You know the 3D printing calendars now, right? It's like the calendars aren't going anywhere. We got to keep some calendar. Listen, if it was up to me, there would be a calendar in every home in America.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, well, yeah. Just go, try and seize my calendars. I lost them all in a fishing accident.
Yeah.
I don't have any more calendars.
Yeah. Oh, did you file the serial number off this calendar?
I love having to use the Holodomor, the thing that like barely anybody knows about, as your example, because you can't say the Holocaust because you're a Nazi.
Yeah.
So you have to say the left wing one, the quote left wing one. Do you think their virtues kept their bellies full when Stalin was starving them?
Yeah.
Huh? No, they would have made a calendar in a heartbeat if they had the technology.
They were eating calendars. They were surviving. I remember hearing tales of that. They would boil their calendars for nutrients because they were leather bound calendars at the time.
Right. Okay. So I take it this is where we're getting into defenses of the calendar. All right. So that was one of my favorite defenses of the calendar. We also have Andrew Wong, American flag emoji, who says some conservatives seem to be unaware of the morale boosting effects of pinups on the greatest generation while they were fighting German Nazis, Italian fascists, and Japanese militarists.
Yep.
Some people say, this is me talking now, some people say the atomic bomb won World War II for us.
Uh-huh.
It was the atomic bombshell.
Yeah.
On the would he really have pushed that button if he didn't have someone to push it for?
Yeah, you know what they say. There's no ED in the foxholes. Nothing's more life affirming than an erection. It's like we gotta get the. It's like also they're kind of saying we are at war right now. We need all the morale boost we can get.
I'm picturing like a black and white, guy from the 1940s, guy who's like 30 years old. Yeah, being shot like on the battlefield, like he has to like wrap his secret weapon, and it's a calendar that turns him into a berserker warrior. He sees a photo or like a hand drawing of Betty Boop in fishnets, and he jumps the fucking berm and takes out like 40 krauts.
Look, you think it's funny, but I don't know if I told you about my great uncle who in WWII, he got his arm blown clean off, and they couldn't. They how do you tourniquet a clean blown off arm? They couldn't do that. The only way that kept him from dying is they had to send all the blood to his dick. All the blood had to go straight to his cock, and he lived. He lived to tell that story.
Bro, imagine the doctor shows you a calendar like this. A calendar with like a woman whose legs go all the way up to there. And then he puts a leech on your dick.
Oh no.
No, it's good, but it's good. You imagine the leech is the woman.
Yeah. It's like talk about sucking you dry,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we needed those this is why they're trying to destroy the calendars. They know we're going to need strong men for the road ahead.
Yeah.
Hot, sexy, busty calendars create strong men.
Same uncle needed the calendar because he needed it mounted on the wall because he couldn't hold the calendar and jerk off at the same time. He only has one arm now.
Yeah, that's that's why you put them in the gym. You know, it gets you all fired up, gets you all excited.
Yeah.
Reach a new personal best. But no, somebody responded to this and said, Jay Rowley said, wow, so they fought the wrong enemy and were vagrant simps while doing it. I tell you, shocked, ... I'm absolutely shocked, I tell you.
Wild, just wild.
So we have more instances of fascists fighting with conservatives over the calendar. And Jay Rowley brings up a good point that, you know, he as a fascist thinks that we were fighting the wrong enemy, meaning fighting the Nazis, because of the calendar. He agrees the calendar is a powerful tool, and it brainwashed millions of young men into fighting Nazis instead of women.
Yeah. I mean, that's I forget that there's people out there who are like, God, imagine if we would have teamed up with the Nazis. Just imagine what we could have accomplished.
Yeah, I mean, there were people who were like so desperate for the Cold War to become a hot one that they were like, I would ally with Hitler to have a hot war with the Soviet Union right now.
Yeah,
that's how like big of freaks these people are.
But I mean, yeah, there's calendars out there, you know, that if I think a lot of these soldiers never got to see a buxom Jewish woman in a scantily clad outfit, they might not have gone to war, but they did, and that's why we lost. These calendars did lose the war for us.
So yeah, Bryson Gray, that rapper, you know, he got a lot of pushback from people like George Alexopoulos, who does nothing but draw extremely lurid comic. We've looked at some of his cartoons before. He's the one who draws like, you know, the SJWs in high Ren and Stimpy, high detail, freaking out with action lines everywhere, color, yada, yada, yada. Like he had Kamala Harris screaming in the face of that orphan child whose dad was a cop or something. He had Kamala Harris like screaming good morning in his face while he was crying or something. Remember that? Remember that one?
Yeah.
It's a fucking weirdo. Yeah, he replied to Bryson Gray, the MAGA rapper, the Christian MAGA rapper. Perhaps this is more to your taste, and it's a firefighter's calendar. It's a gay calendar for a gay guy.
If you don't listen, if you're not getting horny for these women, you got to be gay.
Yeah, perhaps you're an F slur. Maybe that's why you're not cool. And I like that it's Australian firefighters too. This guy did his homework. He's like, this is exactly what a gay man would be into.
Yeah. It's the accent. It's not even about these crazy abs. It's about the accent for me.
It's about the accent and the tribal tattoo. The tribal armband, huge part of it.
Yeah. Oh, talk about unraveling some fire hose.
But Sam responds, firefighters are different. Men are able to appreciate firefighter strength and masculinity from a purely non-sexual standpoint. That is why many men have posters of bodybuilders on their walls.
Do many men have pictures of bodybuilders on their walls?
Yeah, a lot of men do.
I mean, yeah.
They're just gay.
They're gay guys. Yeah, they're just gay guys. Yeah. like I just like that he's like, no, listen, when I walk by this, I'm like, hell yeah, dog. Yeah. Hey, good job, bro. You know, I'm not getting horny for them all. Like, you know, I want to play sports with them.
I love that his argument is no, firefighters are different. People don't usually sexualize firefighters. Actually, they're more of like akin to a bodybuilder. Yeah. Like the firefighters are the most sexualized men on the planet, probably. Like
got to be up there.
Yeah, firefighters and then podcasters.
Oh, easily. Which is more important for society? That's to be decided. That's not for me to weigh in on, I don't think.
But this is why firefighter calendars are so popular. It's because men appreciate power.
For the bros.
Another person who defended the calendars is Ian Miles Chong, who said, some so-called, quote, conservatives are acting like woke feminists with their contempt for female sexuality. So I like this. I like this a lot because I feel like an astute, somebody who's paying attention to this could recognize the same thing that I recognized at the beginning of this episode, which is that they're using feminist arguments to
mhm.
defend doing the calendar. It's my body, my choice. I'm not hurting anybody. They're using like libertarian, feminist,
absolutely.
whatever arguments to do it. They're even going as far as to say you're gaslighting me.
Yeah. Which is a word I didn't think they were allowed to use. I didn't think they were allowed to. I guess they can. You can only. It's strictly weaponized.
I think that was actually the trad wife, maybe, who said gaslighting. Yeah,
It
I
was.
take that back. But they're both
But still.
liberalizing. So somebody could see that, be like, "Oh, I need to head this off. I can't. I like the calendar, but I can't be seen as using like feminist empowering language or arguments or politics or whatever. So I got it. I'm going to call prudishness feminism. I'm going to say that actually feminism have contempt for female sexuality. Have you ever noticed this, folks?
Yep. It's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah. Feminists around me they hate it when women are being sexual. They have straight contempt for it.
I started because I'm a conservative, I'm a right-wing conservative. I started a campaign called Free the Nipple to encourage women to go topless. Death threats from the feminists. I'm not joking. I got doxxed. They posted my home address. Gloria Allred.
Oh my God.
She fucking sent me a photo of a gun.
Scary times.
Yeah.
All because you were trying to, desexualize the nipple. Yeah, no, I've seen these feminists, like they talk about respect women, but I've seen feminists go as far as to actually like lock up and bind and restrain other women just for being sexy. I've seen them hit them with with girly looking paddles and stuff like that to feminize it, but it's still what it is. It's a contempt for sexuality, and you can't tell me otherwise.
They saw you, I think it was you, Tony. They saw you, Tony Boswell, get aroused at one of these female, sexual displays. And they got so mad and they wanted to fight it so much, they put your cock in a cage.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, we got to move on. No, fuck this. Another way they were defending this is they were like, you seem to be forgetting that Donald Trump is a womanizer.
Hello. The fucking the goat does it. I don't know if you know about this, but the fucking goat.
They were like this is from the right wing. They're like, we all voted for the guy who said he grabbed pussies without permission.
Yeah.
What are you talking
What are you talking about? Yeah, this is our thing.
Yeah, Chad Prather, who's some podcaster, and I think he does songs too. He's got that name, so he's legally obligated to release a country song. Amazing how many people that voted for Trump in 16 and 20 parentheses like me. Oh, thank you, Chad. Nice virtue signal, bro. And some who plan to in 24 parentheses also like me.
We get it, bro. Jesus Christ.
Is that millennial sass? Have suddenly found some superior sense of morality over a calendar with well-known conservative women on its pages. And he shared a photo of Donald Trump appearing in Playboy. And I think like a lot of Republicans did excuse Trump's behavior being like, well, he gave that up. He gave that up along with like being friends with Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
Like that's actually why he stopped hanging out with Hillary Clinton, is so he wouldn't be tempted by appearing in Playboy anymore. Just like the sex and debauchery that happens around them,
I think people can change. I think he did the work. I mean, if anybody did the work, this guy did the work.
But when you bring him up in this example, you can't. It's because you like what he was doing. You like that he was almost like practically Howard Sterning it, through the 80s, getting women to ride the Sibian and shit.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's not surprising that a lot of conservatives did react this way to the magazine, despite voting for, a guy with an uncouth past. Here is somebody who was in the calendar. This is Peyton Drew. She's like a sexy model who appeared in the calendar, who also has like a pro-Trump internet persona. Not as many followers, but she was being pretty vocal about the backlash against the calendar. Peyton Drew says, there are people who were literally just saved a couple months ago and think they can slap a cross necklace on, get married, cover their cleavage up, and call themselves a better Christian than a girl who's been a Christian all her life. Hand up emoji. Sit down, sis. LOL. You're new here.
Hell yeah. Bring back gatekeeping, bro. We need more gatekeeping. Like, you just got here, and that's so true. Who's more annoying than a freshly saved person?
Absolutely.
Oh shit! I just clicked on Peyton Drew's profile. Peyton Drew's like she's salacious.
Yeah, her website doesn't load anymore. I tried to click on her website. I think the link's broken or something. Did it work for you?
No. Just her media tab. Just her media tab is salacious enough.
I wanted to see what she really had, because there's probably stuff that's in her portfolio that's not in the media tab on her conservative personality on Twitter. Like, she posted more of her photos. It was like, how about this too spicy for you? And it's like I don't know what those tops are called, where it's just like a strap over each breast, kind of, they like crisscross. So yeah, she's upset at the Christian, the fake Christian, the grifter Christian right wing. And it's like, that's what they're there for. Like, they're there to make people worse. They're there to make people more reactionary and more judgmental. And you think you can be like, yeah, so what if I'm an adult model? I've been a Christian my whole life, and think that these people would ever accept that.
Yeah, no, they would have hated you. They would have hated you the whole time.
Insane. And it's the same thing with, Bryson, who gets called an N-word.
Yeah, exactly.
N-word with a hard R when he makes an anti-calendar video. And it's the same thing with Rita Love, who gets called the T-slur and says, what we all know what should really happen to you.
Yeah.
All these people are just like flirting with stuff that they can barely keep a lid on right now. Well, like, imagine if the movement gained even more steam than this. It would not be good.
I mean, that's the whole thing with all of this, right? Because we're talking about, like the self-hating black grifter, the self-hating, trans grifter. And like, we got to remember that at the end of the day, there is an element. I mean, removing like, like for instance, like the white woman power, thing. There is an element of like, yeah, if you're like a conservative woman, you're doing yourself a disservice, because you're always going to be, serving the patriarchy if that's what you're petitioning for.
Well, speaking of patriarchy, same model, Peyton Drew tweeted out, I thought the patriarchy was done and gone for conservative men, or I thought the patriarchy was done and gone for, until, quote, conservative men rolled in and tried telling us women what's conservative and what's not, while they stare at and jerk off to hot women like a good misogynist hypocrite. If you're using the word misogynist, like, you're done. Like, you have to know what's going on. You're too smart. Like, I think maybe this is an awakening for Peyton Drew. Probably not, because she's still like, all in on this stuff. But like, look at this one. Again, this is the model who appeared in the calendar getting fucking told she's a demon by the rest of the right-wing fascists, or told like, you shouldn't even be allowed online, if you don't have a husband. Says, I'm pro-life AF, and I used to scoff at the liberal mainstream fear-mongering us women into believing there are men trying to take our rights away. Parentheses, abortion isn't a right. Anyway, ... But holy shit, after hashtag Calendargate, there really are men and women seriously trying to take our rights away. Yeah, let's refer back to Lauren Chen, who says, some of you are really shocked when we do when we say we want to do what we say we want to do.
Yep. It's like, yeah. Did you see Peyton's post from yesterday by chance?
I saw a lot of their posts. Why don't you go ahead and read it?
She put up a long screed, and it just starts with like, since when has it become a competition to who is the, quote, most conservative person on the internet? Who gives a shit?
Just a popularity contest.
Why is this a pissing match? Yeah. Lol. Who are we trying to impress? Well, each other is the answer. And it's all about exactly this. Yeah. But it's just so funny. It's like, what did you think you were entering in? That's exactly what it is. That's the whole thing.
The last thing, and I know we ran long on this, but it was just, I don't know, fascinating to me over a calendar. The last defense of the calendar I'll say here is from Chad Felix Green, who looks to be a young, millennial or Gen Z male with like a green beanie on and green framed glasses and a little beard, a stylish, fashionable guy who says, when you call a swimsuit calendar, quote, porn, it makes it so much more difficult to convince regular people, quote, porn in schools isn't just conservative Karens hyperventilating over exposed ankles or something.
Yeah.
I thought this was a very funny response to this. I, for one, would not have brought up the fact that I think there's porn in schools while something like this calendar exists, because what is in schools is the written language about, characters kissing each other, or like implied, a story with implied sex behind closed doors or whatever. Like, that is what you're calling porn in schools, man. And it's very funny that you would be like, hey, wait, no, don't, you're not supposed to say it about this stuff that I like.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
This is cool. This is cool. I actually got this from my kid's teacher. Like you said, it is like kind of telling on themselves. I think they always do.
No, people do think you're hyperventilating. People absolutely do think you're hyperventilating. And this is why, you know. Anyway, that's Calendargate, folks. It's wonderful to be back. Thanks for joining us today. If you want to listen to those bonus episodes we released during the month of December, they're pretty freaking good. Go to patreon.com/Minion Death Cult, patreon.com/Minion Death Cult. You get an extra bonus episode and a live stream we do with listeners every Saturday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The audio versions of both of those episodes get served straight to your podcast app, or you can join us live on Saturdays and join in on the chat. Happy New Year, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Yeah, see you soon. Come hang out in the chat, guys. Peace.
Bye.